All right, and we are live doing stuff a little bit different. I'm happy to get Skimpy in here to hang out with us. Randall will be joining soon. He said he might be a couple minutes late, fashionably late, just like when we go fishing. It's an exciting show, Skimpy. What's the good word over there for you?
Oh, man, nothing much, man. The Mariners just won, so it's been the first time like in 21 years we went this far, so we're pretty excited over here for that.
Hopefully we have the same luck with the Hawks. I was just watching the Hawks before this. We'll see, man. It's been a little turbulent, but we'll see what's going on. So
Yeah.
Tonight's a fun show. I upgraded the webcam. Hopefully y'all can tell. I was just talking to Skimpy about it before because I had a $40 webcam and I try to show baits and stuff. So hopefully I can do we're talking about baits and everything's nice and clear. Like this, you can see is signed by me. It's an old DEBO custom. Doing stuff like this, trying to change up stuff. I was messing with lighting before. Here's another swim bait I did the other day. It's supposed to look like something clawed it. But yeah, like the bait stuff shows a lot cleaner. Hopefully everybody likes this. But Mr. Skimpy, tonight hanging out with you. So I got to meet old Skimp on the Do It Molds get together hangout. I've still got my second video to do from that. I'd known Skimpy before, and I told him that he and Luna were actually two of the guys that I watched when I got into making jigs. So like I had been painting baits and stuff before that, but as far as making jigs, I was honestly a little intimidated because you got to heat, the whole melting pot. I'm like, I don't want to blow anything up. So Mr. Skimpy, what got you, and I know this is kind of part of it, but what got you into YouTube and tackle making? That's where we're going to start out on this journey.
All right. So we'll start with tackle making first. So basically how I got started making tackles, I used to flip a lot of jigs, and if you're not losing jigs, you're not fishing it in the right spots. So I would go through a lot of jigs and then I'd spend a lot of money. So I just was thinking, you know what, maybe I should just try to make them myself, and the rest is history. And the same thing with Senkos. So I actually jumped in with lead and soft plastics like right away, both. So I started with jigs and Senkos. And then how I started with the YouTube videos is a lot of my buddies were asking, how do you make these? So I'd make like little short videos, and then I would just post them, and then they would watch them. And the next thing I know, a lot of people were watching them. So I started making more, and the rest is history, man.
All right, I went muted quick. I was typing. I was telling everybody to ask us questions. Let us know what questions you have. All right, cool. Yeah, and that's a good thing about tackle making. I'll be honest, I got into it thinking, yeah, this should be a good way to save money. And dude, once I get into it, I'm buying so much stuff. And for me, it has really been the creativity side, just being able to make whatever you want. And even if I'm not making money, being able to do stuff like this, just doing fun stuff. And here was another one I had. I was just going through an old box. And I completely forgot I painted these. With Halloween coming up, I did like a jack-o'-lantern, lipless. This was just kind of a rough one, but fun stuff like this. And I know for you, you're doing the same thing. You're making your own chatter, like vibrating jig, ChatterBait type things. Yeah. What are some other things that you've done to kind of like tinker with? You're like, man, this is fun, and you actually use it.
I'm getting into airbrushing as well, so I've been doing airbrushing. To be honest, man, I've done it pretty much all, spinner baits, all different plastics. Like I said, I'm getting into airbrushing. I'm not as good as you though, but I've made a couple good ones.
There's such a learning curve to it. And like the cool thing about airbrushing is everybody's got their own style. Yeah. So it's like you'll look at different painters and you'll see stuff and you can pretty much pick out almost exactly whose stuff it is when you see it online, like through Instagram.
Gotcha.
And I'm not used to looking up there either, you guys. So if I'm looking here, sorry. But yeah, that's the cool part of it. So if you could only do one thing out of tackle making, so making jigs and tying jigs, soft plastics, painting, what is your favorite? If you could really only do one.
Probably jigs.
You're good at jigs. I already watched it on Luna's. That was actually a pretty cool video. What's your favorite mold?
Well,
I'm going to bring it up here.
I'm going to say the poison tail jig, but man, I've definitely fell in love with the hybrid grass jig as well. But the poison tail jig was one of my first molds. So and I've made chatterbaits out of it. I've made spinner baits out of it. And I love that dang mold. But I've made chatterbaits out of the hybrid grass jig, and that's actually what I brought to Iowa with us, and that's what we caught majority of our fish on too. But yeah,
Yeah, that's a fun little. Yeah, I just started playing with that one too. That's a pretty cool little jig. I was just going to show people here what we're talking about. And this walking bait, y'all have seen me posting a lot of this walking bait. This walking bait's legit. I haven't got to try any of the other blanks. Have you done anything with any of these yet?
Not those new ones, but some of the older ones, yeah. They had,
yep,
I don't know, probably 7 different other ones back.
Let's see. Hybrid. This one. So this is what Skimpy's talking about. I actually just went out today and tried to catch some fish, and all I caught was basically an earache because it was windy and cold as hell. 58, I think, was the high today where I'm at. So that's fun. What's it like where you're at?
I'll give you the exact here. It's like
yeah, this one's cool. Sorry, go ahead.
It's 72 degrees right now.
Up in Seattle, up in the Northwest.
Correct.
Have you ever, okay, here's a question. Have you ever seen Sasquatch?
Hey, nah.
Do people ever ask you that? Hey, you live in the Northwest. You ever seen Sasquatch?
Nah, I don't think so. I haven't really got that question.
No, only you, idiot. You're the only guy that would ask me that. Hey, we try to keep it fun here, Skimpy. You never know what question I'm going to throw at you.
I love it.
So yes, this one's cool because it's kind of a do-it-all, and that's what Brendan was talking about. Well, that's way too big. Kind of a do-it-all. It's got that rounded head, slightly recessed, like a third of the eyes recessed. You can drag it, you can swim it. That's really what it's for. But like you said, making, keeping this hook eye open and making chatterbaits even, so just getting fun with stuff and messing with tackle making is really the fun that I've come to find in it, not necessarily saving money or, just doing your own thing, I think is the cool part.
Also with this, if you look at that skirt collar, man, that's a nasty skirt collar holder. That will hold your plastic on all day. Another thing about it is, can't tell from this picture, but on the very bottom is a little flat. So it can,
oh yeah.
I don't know if you can
right
see
here.
it. Yeah, but it's a little bit flatter.
Yeah,
those are the differences. Yeah. Those are the differences between that and the poison tail jig. This is pretty much just a better poison tail jig, in my opinion.
Well, the poison tail too was like those bigger, rounder, like EWG hooks that I didn't like. I'm sure you can modify it, but
I use the regular.
Yeah. Okay.
10886 Victories. I use those and those as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I've just started getting into messing with my my molds and.
Yeah, see, I got a crappy camera too, so you can't see it.
Dude, that's exactly what mine did. It would piss me off.
It's 10886. It's a Victory hooks, man. I've been getting more and more into these Victory hooks, man. I love them. I've completely switched to Victory hooks, and no regrets.
Yep. Yeah, they got some good hooks. Nice, solid, stout for those ones that come with that grass jig. Good solid stout. I don't think I have any of those grass jigs around here, but yeah, it's not a wimpy little hook. Let's see what we got, man. We've been ignoring the comments here. I'm going to try to jump over to comments. I'm sorry, everyone. Just kind of getting into everything. So let's see. Oh, so Skimpy's hat. So I've had about 1 million questions on old Skimp's hat. I told him that him and Retro have the coolest freaking logos. So hit Skimpy up. I love the hat. I purchased one. I was like, dude, I got to buy one of your hats. So it's, what is it? One Hundo Clothing. Is that who sells it?
Yeah. So I have a good buddy and he wanted to start like a clothing line, and he has a bunch of ideas and he's going to be coming out with his clothing line. But at the same time he was getting that started, I was telling him, a lot of people have been asking me because they like my logo. They've been asking for hats or hoodies or whatever. And then he said, hey, you want me to just handle it for you? And I was like, yeah. So One Hundo handles everything for me. And right now he's working on a website. He doesn't have a full website up yet, but you can check him out on Instagram or onehundo@gmail.com.
I'll do that afterwards. I'll put the Instagram in the description below for anybody watching this on replay. Yeah, One Hundo Clothing on Instagram. I hit him up because Skimpy told me before, and I went and checked it out. I'm like, man, this doesn't look legit. Like, this dude doesn't have a website. I'm like, and then after I met Skimpy, he's like, yeah, just hit him up. So I hit him up and bought one. It was legit. I got it in like 3 days. So your man's doing good stuff. Okay, so Fish in the Southeast, Brennan says this or that, fiber weed guard or wire weed guards. What do you like on most of your stuff, Skimp?
I'm going fiber. I mean, I guess it all depends. I mean, that's a hard one because I mean, I do use wire, but I would say 80% of the time I'm using fiber.
Yep, I agree. I'm mostly fiber. I think it's more versatile. There are certain things, like little wacky hooks or even some of the kind of shaky head type Ned rig head. I
Right.
like the wire.
Wire.
Real finesse, small, but yeah, for the most part, I agree. Fiber's much more versatile. Bayou Burner said, "What's up?" A ton of people saying, "What's up?" My guy Nick Fatboy Fishing, he said you're kind of shady, Skimpy.
Come on, Fat Boy Fishing.
Nah,
you was my guy, man.
Okay, so he asked before your jig. We already got that one. Nick asked, "What's your favorite soft plastic and color?" So, what's your favorite to make and your favorite color to do? Do you have a signature?
Well, I used to use the Ripper a lot for, I mean, even just on a swim bait head or as a chatterbait trailer,
which is like a Kitech, right? That's the Kitech type looking.
Correct.
Oh, actually, I've got them up here. Hold on.
But now I'm going to have to say the Bushy Beetle, man. I use that as a trailer, jig trailer, and chatterbait trailer.
Really? I haven't even made me yet. I've got it, and I was excited about that one, and I made a whole crap ton of, actually, just so I can try my camera here. Let's see how it looks. So this is what Skimpy was talking about, the Ripper. It's essentially like kind of a Kitech. It's got a little bit more of a belly on it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool mold. I've been using those on my swim jigs and stuff. Let's see how this looks. But this is the Katana Craw. That one I've had quite a bit of fun with. That's just on a little finesse jig. That's all DEBO made right there. Little round ball head jig, little Katana Craw trailer.
You know what? I haven't even poured those yet. Oh, I did in Iowa, but I haven't poured those yet.
See, and I haven't even done the Bushy Bug yet.
Oh man, the Bushy Beetle is amazing, man. I love it. And that's what we were catching them on the Mississippi and Iowa when we were there. Me and Drake, we were using the chatterbait. We actually used the hybrid grass jig chatterbait, and then we were using the Bushy Beetle for the trailer. And nice. We slayed, man. One of the days, bro, we completely slayed. And then the other 2 days was, decent. But that first day, man, me and Drake, when it was just us two, we slayed.
Nice. Yeah, I wish I could have. I had so much fun on the one day. I only got up one day with you guys, but
yeah,
man, I wish I could have stayed longer. I watched Luna's the day after I left, and they were still on top water. Brennan hooked up on. He was throwing the spook. That's what I was catching all mine on. That'll be the video coming up next week. I was throwing the KVD Sexy Dog. We had a double up, a solo double. We caught 2 smallies on one spook. Man, they were just crushing them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's see. Oh, there's Kuda in the house. Kuda, I should have sent you an invite. You can jump in. You can be Randy for the night. Kuda, hit me up with your email if you want to jump in with us. We'll just pretend you're Randy. Put your hat backwards. Let's see. Cooler said you didn't miss much critical. No, man, we're just having fun. That's the funny thing about lives is like there's some people that loves, and I know Cooler's not saying that. Just there's some people that get on and be like, "Oh, lives are stupid. Why do you do them?" And I'm like, man, we're just hanging out. We're talking fishing. We're having fun, dude. Like this is what lives should be. Get to know DEBO. Get to know some other people in the community. I want to try to help other people get recognition and kind of get the community going. And we already have a bunch of that. There's already people. Fat Boy Fishing already knew you, and I saw Rich. I'm sorry I didn't bring you up here, but I saw Rich in here earlier. Hellabass. So many people watch me and Hellabass, and all these other people. I think that's what's just cool as hell. Everybody trying to support the good folks here on YouTube because it's hard enough for us. It's hard to get views. YouTube is a weird animal.
Yep.
Cooler, I did get a new camera. Hopefully everything looks good. I'm really enjoying it for the baits and stuff. I need to figure out a giveaway. What should we do for a giveaway tonight, Skimpy? I would say
I don't know what
stuff I've made, but I don't have anything made up and ready. My stupid Bluetooth earbuds keep like cutting in and out. I don't know why. Me and Bluetooth are going to have a go around here. This is an interesting. I have had a couple of people ask this. Little Rich, are either of you trying to pour non-lead jigs, aluminum or similar? Have you ever tinkered in that?
I have not.
I haven't either. I know that's the question people have asked me, if I could just pour tungsten. And the thing with tungsten is it's got such a higher melting point. It's kind of finicky. And there's only, from what I understand, a couple factories that really like do it. I think, no
That's
pun
what I've heard.
intended there.
No, yeah, I've heard this exact same thing. You have to have such a, I guess it's in a pretty expensive setup to be able to do it too. So
yeah, you can't just like throw it in a lead melting pot. And
correct.
yeah, Matthew, Brendan, who did those over at Do It, said he took a lot from those to try to get that look similar, but not knock it off 100%. That's the hard thing of tackle making, is like a lot of these companies, it's, they don't really care if you're taking, I guess, quote unquote, inspiration from them, if it's not patented. That's kind of the tough part, is trying to make a crank that performs. Cause like I was honestly, out of all of them, I was most excited about the lipless, because
really?
a good legit lipless blank to paint like at a half ounce is so freaking hard to find. Like they're just hard to find. Nobody makes a good one. Speaking of some, you know who painted these on here? Old Debo. There's some old Debo paint jobs there.
Oh man.
Oh, Debo. But anyway, this one, which is supposed to, so they call it the big eye shad, which is supposed to be basically a red eye shad. I mean, that's really what it comes down to be. It's not going to be exact, the plastic and weighting and stuff, rattles, but I think that stuff's fun. But yeah, that's kind of the hard part, is a lot of people will see him and be like, oh, they just knocked off this person. But it's like, where do you draw that line, without being exactly like it, trying to take inspiration for, I don't know.
Right.
We could go down a whole rabbit hole on that, but what else we got? Liza, I have a completely unrelated question, but how would you go about making a soft plastic bait from scratch? In other words, the mold doesn't exist yet. Skimpy, I think you've tinkered in this, right?
Yeah, I have. I'm not saying I've been super successful, but I mean, so if a bait doesn't exist, you would make it out of clay, or you'd make it out of wood, or you would carve it somehow, or 3D print it or whatever, and then you would make a mold out of it. You can use plaster of Paris for mold. You can use silicone.
Like silicone, yeah, like that rubbery
mold. And a lot of that stuff you can just get right at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever you got down where you're at. And I mean, there's a ton of videos on YouTube about that. Like I said, I've done it multiple times, and I mean, they worked, but I mean, I just kind of gave up on it after a while.
Yeah, it's tough to deal with. Critical, I switched over from comments real quick. I don't think I got you. I got Leanne. I got Fisherman83, who is Jason sent me his stuff. Critical, I don't think I ever got you. So send me an email, DEBO'SFishing@gmail.com. He was saying, hey, I see my name back there. He was a giveaway winner. I would keep my giveaway winners here. That way I don't forget anybody. I don't have anything out from last week yet. Looks like I froze.
You did
freeze. Am I still froze?
You're frozen. You're just pointing at the board.
I'm gonna can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
all right, you guys run with it. I'm gonna jump out and jump back in. You're live, Randall. Surprise.
I see that. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh man, I just got back. I had to run the old lady and her daughter out to some like crazy big ass haunted house thing in the middle of nowhere. So that was fun. You got to turn down the gravel road and then turn onto the dirt road. And I would say within, I don't know, like an hour, or not an hour, within a mile of the place, it looked like just a dense fog with all of the traffic on the gravel. Insanity.
All right, I don't know what happened there, guys. Sorry. Internet's freezing. Probably Randizzle's ripped off Walmart Wi-Fi. Messed up the stream a bit. That's all right.
It's not. Oh my. Debo.
So Randall, Skimpy, Mr. Randizzle. Sorry I didn't get to introduce you guys before.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's
that was
see.
my
so
fault.
What do we got? That's all right. Let's see. Ooh, here's one. So Fat Boy asked, and we kind of talked about this before. Skimpy, what's your favorite custom lure modification? Do you have a favorite mod on any?
ChatterBait, making chatterbaits out of the poison tail. I've done it on the Arky, and I've done it on the hybrid grass jig.
Chris Topher Curtis, Chris 1990. Tell her Skimpy and I said hi. I like watching his YouTube shows. Like watching his fishing shows on YouTube. So we got some Skimpy fans up in here. Thermal printer reference coming, Steven. Yeah. Critical. Make sure you email me, and then I will thermal printer send you something. Oh, hey, hold on. We're gonna get, dude. It's gonna be a Brady Bunch in here. Sorry, I just got this. So if you guys see any questions out there, nab them. Jump in, Skimp. Is there anything you want to share, Skimpy? Okay, so I had some questions for you saved up. Skimpy, right now, fall fishing for you. What are you throwing in? And do you mainly do, because you're kind of do a little bit of both, boat and bank, right?
For the most part, I do boat, but yeah, I'll fish from the bank every now and then. As far as right now, you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm starting to gear up for deer season. Hope opens up next week, and so does duck hunting. So I'll still go out, but I'm just saying that well, I'm not out fishing today, but last week, man, I spent time tidying up my new scope, so I did that instead of fishing, and I apologize, man.
I saw that. I'm not mad at that. Actually, Dad and I. So Dad got Mom and Dad got a Brittany. So we used to go pheasant hunting back in the day, and we had a Brittany and everything. They haven't had a dog forever, so it kind of surprised me when they got one. His buddy, they had one. You know, everything kind of fell into play, and so he's going to be training her and stuff. And hopefully, we get to go out at the end of the month pheasant hunting. So I might try to throw some of that in. And the weird thing about Iowa is, I don't know if we have hunters that watch. I know this is a fishing show, and I digress. But dude, the pheasant numbers were down for so long here in Iowa that like you didn't see them. I know, like growing up in high school, I'd hit multiple pheasants. You'd see them all the time, and then forever it was just like nothing. The numbers were way down, and over the past couple of years they've been way back up again. Last year was like one of the biggest harvests they've had for a long time. So they said this year is supposed to be good as well. But anyway, if you're in Iowa or Nebraska over there where Randy lives now, pheasant and quail hunting is supposed to be good.
I've been fishing the last 3 days. Like we had we had a cold front come in, and it went from it had to have been Monday it was probably in the 80s, and then it just tanked a couple of days ago, maybe Tuesday into Wednesday, got super chilly. And but yeah, so pretty heavy winds the last couple of days. Went and kind of red faced right now, sunburn or not sunburnt, but wind burnt face, just standing there tossing jigs and free rigs.
Free birds and free rigs. Yeah, I caught a couple on the free rig. We're gonna have to get together and do a free rig video, man. Talking to people about the free rigs. It's an interesting one. So Skimpy, if you weren't out hunting, do you? Because I'm assuming you were a fall fisherman at some point in time. What would you be throwing right now? Northwest, where you're at, so I'm guessing water's like what, mid-60s?
Yeah,
probably.
So first thing in the morning, I'm throwing a buzz bait, man. I love throwing buzz baits. After that, it depends on if some of our lakes have, largemouth and smallmouth. Some are just largemouth. But if I'm fishing a lake with a lot of smallmouth in it, I'll be probably drop shotting or something. And then when it comes to largies, I'm going to be flipping jigs, man.
I figured that might come in. So Randy, you're gonna love Skimpy. Skimpy's one of the few guys that I watched. Him and Luna, actually, Bayou Burner just said Luna makes some nice stuff too. Yep, Luna and Skimpy were two of the guys that I started watching for jigs. But I figure you two will probably have some sort of bromance going on here and talk about how much you both love jigs and all this and that. And,
yeah.
Oh Lord, Randy loves all these people that I have on because they're always like, "Oh yeah, jig's one of my favorites," and I'm like, "Oh God,
right?
Randy's drooling again." Let's see what else. Okay, so as far as gear, Mr. Skimpy, If you could pick out one rod and reel from your arsenal, what do you think is like your favorite? Cost doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be special or anything, but do you have like one piece of gear that you're like, man, if you're looking at something, this is kind of my favorite?
I mean, I gotta, for my reel, the Tattulas. I'm a big Tattula fan. Pretty much on all my rods. And then I like Lamaglass rods as well.
I've not used any of those. Okay.
It's a Washington company, so I represent. But I have a couple Abu Garcia rods. Actually have a Mega Bass rod. I'm trying to think of which one I would use the most. I probably use the Lamaglass the most. The Lamaglass with the Tattula.
Is that your jig rod?
Yeah. For as far as for my jig rod, I got a high speed, but I think it's an 8-to-1 on the reel, and then on the rod, I'm trying to remember if it's I think it's 7-foot medium, and then that's
really just a medium for your jigs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm gonna throw into some, I seen Tacoma stand up. That's right, Tacktown. I mean, if I'm throwing into nasty, yeah, I got a medium heavy rod that I'll use. But for just skipping docks and stuff like that, I'm using just a medium.
Sure. Yep. Because what do you like? What kind of places are you fishing normally? Do you have kind of most of my places are like this, like clear? Is it mostly muddy? Is it staying? Like, what type of places do you fish a lot up there?
For the most part, our water's pretty clear out here.
So kind of like Luna. That's what Luna was saying. Because so the way we were fishing, do you get to do that a lot? Like kind of up close and personal?
Well, I mean, yeah, up close and personal. Yeah, we still do that. But I mean, even though it's clear water, you can still get up and personal. But we have the Columbia River. But besides that, I don't really fish rivers. So that it was just kind of a whole new thing to me. Like I'll give you an example. When me and Drake were going and we were scanning and looking for spots, I see all these docks. And I was like, hey, man, let's just go right to those docks. He's like, no, let's don't. They're over here. You chase the shad and all this. Well, it's not the same here. So it's just like a whole new way of fishing for me. So,
yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, and that was one of the coolest parts of me just like listening to Luna. So the day I went up there, I got to fish. It was me, Luna, and Brennan versus Skimpy, Drake, and Kuda, who actually I sent him an invite, so we might get Kuda in here too and have a Brady Bunch thing going on. But that's what Luna was talking about, fishing down in wherever he's at,
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, and like into speak of the Kuda, and he shall appear. What's up, brother?
What up, Kuda?
What's happening, crew? Randizzle, what's up, buddy? How are you? Debo, Skimpy?
What up?
And all the fine people in chat.
Oh gosh, we got a bunch of jig nerds in here now. It's all three of you guys going to be and talking about jigs.
Jigs take over tonight, baby.
Dude, listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to sit back and relax for a while because this is so much easier when I'm not having to click all the damn buttons.
I know, isn't it?
It is,
just
buddy.
Hanging out and talking.
So keep talking. I'll jump in. I got to get YouTube open so I can see the comments too, and then mute it.
Oh, can you not see the comments on your? Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on a laptop.
There should be.
Hold on, wait. I can now. I had it on private chat. I switched over. I'm all good now.
Yeah. Don't read those things that Randy puts in private chat. We can't talk about that stuff.
Dude, why do you even bring that stuff up, man? I thought that was in confidence.
He saves those chat logs, Dizzle.
Yeah, I keep those. So that's the thing about Luna Skimpy. I kind of wondered, what you fish, because he was saying, he's like, this is pretty cool, doing this up close and personal. We were just going on the river, something that's very, normal to me, nothing strange. But he's like, dude, this is fun. He's like, up close and personal. He's like, a lot of the times I'm fishing in like super clear water, 20 some feet deep and making these longer casts, throwing these little jigs. I'm like, dude, that scares the hell out of me. I don't want to do that kind of fishing.
Yeah.
I don't like deep, really clear water. That's my kryptonite. That scares me. So let's see. I'm rolling through. If you guys see anything, feel free to jump out, grab questions, Skimpy. I'm happy you guys made time tonight to come hang out. And Skimp, whenever you need to go, he said he's going on a date with his old lady tonight.
I am.
He is 2 hours behind. So whenever you need to roll, my friend, hop
no,
on.
I'm good, man. We got reservations like at 9 our time, man. So it's only 6 here.
Oh, heck, you're
Eight-
good. You're
8
good.
at your house?
Yep, 8 here.
You should make it.
Gramps in the house. What's up, Gramps?
What up, Gramps?
Let's see. We got, I don't know why people are putting profanities in the chat like that. Go Buckeyes. I don't want any of that crap around here. Go Hawks.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah, what do you got, Randall?
Jeremiah Strange asked me about, I don't know what the rig is called, but it's using the jig, like basically drop shotted with a jig.
Oh,
what's that called?
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. It's when they use a drop shot. So you have your drop shot set up with the, your hook, and on the bottom, instead of having your weight, they put like a jig on the bottom.
Yeah. So.
Battle baits. Battle baits. Drop Dead Ned is the one that I had.
Okay.
I'll look it up here quick. See if I think he has his own website, but I had some of those and sent them to Burley because I know Burley's a drop shot guy.
So Battle Baits does, but Battle Baits, they have this cool little jig that has a line tie on the top and the bottom. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool little setup. I guess you see a lot of stuff like that in saltwater, but I mean he just has that, and I mean it's just a cool little jig, or drop shot. I don't know what to call it.
But you could run both, yeah, because that's what I sent Burley to try, because you could go essentially like a skirted Ned / drop shot. They're super light. I'll look them up here. But you could run that in the middle with a Ned on the bottom. So you've essentially got like 2 Ned looking things hopping off. So it's almost like a crappie rig. That's how we'll fish crappie around here.
Yeah.
Like a double drop. What do they call it? Like a drop rig or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a big crappie guy, but Dad does that stuff. Where the hell's store at? Well, here's the store. I'll share with you guys real quick. This is a cool place. If you guys have never looked at these, I've done unboxings and stuff and shown them before. They're a pretty cool. If I can figure out why my share is not working.
Liza, I think it just depends on where you're at, because some states will like specify specifically you can't run a dropper rig like that, but then a lot of states will say you can also have 2 hooks on a rig. So it just depends. It gets a little screwy sometimes.
Yeah. So like our DNR, if you look, like a lure is defined as like you can run 2 hooks like per line, unless it's a 1 lure deal. So like a treble hook lure, if it has like multiple hooks on it, that still just counts as 1. So yeah, good point.
Debo,
you're looking into that.
Debo, look at when you go back. There's another. After we go look at this, there's another one I want you to look at too.
So this is what Kuda was talking about. You can tie down to this. This would be running in the middle, and then you could tie down below that like another little Ned rig.
Right.
Yes.
Or I suppose you could put a weight on it if you wanted and just have like a skirted drop shot.
Skirted drop shot? Yeah, so that's not weighted, right? That's just a hook in there with a skirt around it.
It is. I think it's like super light. If I remember.
It is a small ball head.
Yeah, because this is
you can see it a little there.
1/32 or something. It's like it's minute.
Very small, yeah.
I don't know what. Ooh, that purple's dirty looking. Okay, so go back. What was this?
You see that one in the middle, Debo? The white one with a willow blade hanging out, or the Indian? What is that? Turtleback blade hanging out. Look at this thing.
Cyclops underspin. This is neat.
What even is that?
These. Huh.
I know.
What is this made out of? What is that part made out of?
It's lead.
Where's the hook?
Oh, really?
It is no hook. It's like a leader, or it's like a teaser. Like there's a line.
Oh, okay, I see.
At the top.
So this just goes in front. So your line goes through here, and this is just running below.
So it's gonna do like in front of your jig. If you're looking face on at it, it's gonna do this whirly bird type of effect, and that. It's just I've never seen it before. It's so unique. Haven't used it fairly. But I mean, just conceptually, I'd play around with something like that any day of the week.
I've never even seen that. Yeah, so especially like for the places where you couldn't run like an A rig, this could give you, I guess, kind of like a little mini A rig look to it. Huh?
Yeah. It's different. I haven't seen it before.
Okay. Some crazy stuff going on here. What else do we got? What else we got in comments, folks? Let's see. Everybody's saying, "Hey, Dizzle jumped in." Yep, his Walmart Wi-Fi kicked me out. It's all a conspiracy. Let's see. What are the questions you guys got for Skimpy? Just bought a bass boat that has that guy Skimpy sticker on it. Dude, how funny is that?
Hey, wait, what
Skimpy.
bass boat was it? Is it a nitro? I think my buddy just one of my buddies just sold a nitro bass boat, and I think I accidentally stuck that guy's Skimpy sticker on there.
That's what I was gonna say. Skimpy's going to the ramp and just sticking random stickers on people's boats. Oh, you're that guy Skimpy fan. Oh, cool.
No, if it's my buddy Dave that he bought it from, then I actually did a ChatterBait seminar in it's like a barn. He has a big open garage shed barn thing, and I brought all my stuff there, and I had a bunch of people there, and I showed everybody how to make those ChatterBaits, and everybody made ChatterBaits.
What's your favorite color to tie? Like if you're tying jigs, what is your go-to like color creation?
I use 3 different, man, for the most part. Black and blue, you got your green pumpkins, and you got your browns. And the browns can have the reds and everything in it with it, so like a craw type color. But those are the 3 most colors that I use is black and blue.
You forgot one.
Pumpkin. White. Is that what you're
There
going to
you
say?
go.
Okay.
I know. I can't let you get away without.
But as far as
I don't
flipping
throw
jigs,
brown much. I know I'm working. I know I'm missing out, but it's one that I don't work like into the rotation. I don't throw
Yeah,
What, that
see-
color, Debo?
Hmm?
That color, white or the ChatterBait just in general?
No, browns. I'm sorry. I don't know if I cut
yeah.
out. Yeah, browns. I don't throw brown like ball head jigs. Like I've been kind of messing with different colors. I have zero confidence in like a brown, just like a brown ball head, like flipping jig.
I
don't
partly
know.
agree with you.
wow, you guys are weirdos. Man.
Strange.
I know,
people,
dude.
man.
I'd rather just go.
You
with
got to
like
go
a
out to the
green
West Coast to get
Here's-
on those brown jigs.
Yeah, here's what's weird, Skimpy. This is one of my favorite like confidence colors. Oh, I don't have any over here. Let's see if you throw this. You cut out on me for a second, so you might say you throw them, but
Skip,
Hey,
what would-
I was
Go
going to say Illuminati. I do have a couple G Loomis rods. Sorry about that. I didn't mention them.
Skimp, do you if you had to choose between some brown variant jig or a green variant jig, what would you pick?
I don't know, man. That's so.
Combine it?
Come on, Kuda. Why don't you do this to me? So yeah, I'm combining it.
Because I have an answer. Just because you don't point your finger back at me.
Okay, so I consider a lot of the green pumpkin like brown. Like to me, they're very. Where you would throw the green pumpkin, I would throw the brown. So I would do. Oh my gosh, I love green pumpkin. I love green pumpkin, and I also love brown. So
okay, here it is.
Combine it.
we're doing a Brady Bunch. I play the game with my girls. Would you rather? Except this time we're gonna go with you only get one because we
Dang
play
it.
this one too.
I hate
You only get one jig color for the rest of your life. What are you picking? And it can be like a combo, like a black and blue or like a green pumpkin purple. But you only get one. You only get one for the rest of your life. What are you picking up? Everybody's got to answer it. I'm going to go with, I think, a green pumpkin with some June bug. I don't know how well y'all can see it. This is when I tied. Green pumpkin mixed in with like some purple June bug, I think would be my do it all. That's it. It's mine.
I would probably go with a like a black and blue War Eagle with a Okeechobee craw trailer on it.
That's awesome. I was gonna say I'd probably go with like maybe like a black and blue with some green pumpkin in it.
Oh, you dirty dog.
Hey, I'm just saying these are the jigs that I fish a lot. You know,
He's like, I'd go black and blue with green pumpkin in the middle and
With
then brown
white
on the bottom.
green pumpkin.
Yeah,
brown head
and you can flip it inside out and it's white.
Yeah,
It's like the sausage machine at
inside there, the
7-Eleven.
underside's white.
No, I'm just saying that the black. I don't make, for the most part, I don't make just straight black and blue jigs. I always add a little bit of green in there. So that being said, I would do that, and then the trailer, I would use probably a green pumpkin trailer. So let's say if I was just using when I flip a black and blue jig, I usually have a green pumpkin trailer.
Cisco Amaro and Chad.
I mix and match too, Skimpy. I don't.
Whoa,
yeah,
Kuda, what's
I
yours? You
think-
can't just start.
Cisco Amaro and Chad just said mine.
Oh, okay.
A white and chartreuse jig. And I'll tell you why. Because if I'm fishing on the bottom or around structure, it's green pumpkin all day. But if I had one jig that I needed to get bit on and catch fish on, it would be chartreuse and white. And it's the same reason why a chartreuse and white spinner bait, it's just, you can't go wrong with. It's the same concept. You know, I would swim it probably more than anything else.
So in my head, I was thinking flipping jigs. You know,
I'm saying everything. This is everything. You only get one.
You want, but here's the thing, Skip. You already put black and blue, green pumpkin, and if you want to throw white and chartreuse, in, we'll let you.
Nah.
You can hedge your bet.
Yeah, you can flip it inside out, and it's white and chartreuse, Skimpy.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
Skimpy craw.
Fishing with Gramps. Yeah, Gramps. Good point. I did see that earlier. I haven't got a look, but American Legacy Fishing has a sale. The whole site is like 20% off with the open house code. So Gramps, thanks for sharing that. They got a bunch of good. I don't know if that works for used stuff too, but I know I've been talking a lot about like the reels and stuff I've got. Most of them have come, from American Legacy buying quote unquote used, and they're like new. So if you guys are looking for stuff, hit them up. Thank you, Gramps, for throwing that in. I appreciate you, brother. Oh, to Cheddar. Yeah, you're just north of me. Seeing pheasants everywhere in Creston. Yeah, dude, it's awesome that they're coming back. I'm excited to go out with Pops. Let's see.
I forgot about the comment management that we have to do on this show.
I know.
That's good. I'm scrolling back trying to look too.
Here's I actually skipped a number of these. Have you guys thrown the Minimax ChatterBait yet? No?
I have not, but the concept of it is fantastic.
I haven't actually. I have thrown it, I should say. I'm sorry. And I happen to have one here. Jim would be proud of me. I happen to have one here. It's a smaller blade.
That's
more
it.
Finesse.
All
it's
of
just
that right there.
Yeah, it's just a smaller, tinier presentation. There's a lot of people talking about how deadly these are, and I don't know if it's just a deal of every fish has seen a jackhammer and a 3/8 or half ounce, larger profile chatterbait. I mean, I don't know.
I've definitely I've thrown them a couple of times, and I feel like they handle a quicker reel speed, or like that if you throw in like a quick little rotation on your reel real fast, they kind of get a little like swerve to them almost. They do a little
blow out a little
action.
bit, Dizzle.
Yeah. So I like them. I've used them. I've caught fish on them. It's definitely something different,
So what are the weights on them? Do we know? What are the weights on the mini chatter?
Quarter, 3/8, and half, I believe, if I remember.
So they do go up to half. See, here's the thing. This is what I think on those smaller blades, which is very similar to the original styled chatterbait. That smaller blade on those mini maxes is very close to the original chatterbait blade. If I'm not mistaken, I make my own, so I don't even know anymore, right? Because I'm not using commercial stuff. But the thing is, with that smaller blade, there's a technique we used to do when we would scale down, and it's the only time we'd ever use like 1/4 ounce chatterbaits because we would get too much lift on them, is we would basically fish it like a jerk bait, right? And you would be jerking around wood or cover, and they were just deadly. And it's just, you're not getting as much lift because of that blade size, right? But that's the only time we would use it. 1/4 ounce, always around wood or structure. But besides that, I haven't used them like that in many years.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, people, like everybody was saying 3 ounce or 3 ounce. Good Lord, 3/8 ounce. I started. Dude, listen, here in Iowa, we fish some big chatterbaits.
Yeah.
Instead of going with the 3/8, I've honestly just been fishing a 1/2 ounce more lately, and like you don't ever have to worry about it.
Me too.
To be honest.
Same here.
And I know, like for bank fishing, it can be kind of like sketchy sometimes because you're always getting down in the crud. Or I guess the other thing too, Kuda, everybody was throwing like a paddle tail or something that would cause lift.
Yes.
And I don't have any around here, but this is just an old. Actually, I do. Look at this. I come prepared. Something that has just like a
thin
Yodo tail
worm or a G crack.
Yeah, or like a fluke is my big one to throw. A fluke on the back of a chatterbait. It's got no action. It doesn't make the bait rise. Something like that. If you feel like you're getting a bunch of push out of it.
When I go out,
I only use three different trailers for my
Good.
for my ChatterBait. I'll
Let's
use
hear
the
'em.
Ripper like we talked about it before, and then I'll use the Mad Dad 3XL like a craw. I love how the claws kind of go up like this, especially if you're trying to bang it off rocks and all this. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that Bushy Beetle, that thing is fire, and it has a lot of action to it though. So if you want something real subtle, that's not what you want. But that thing.
But Skimp, talk about that more, because here's the thing. I thought that thing was gonna have a lot of action, and then when I saw you throwing it in the boat, and I watched it, I go, "This is entirely different than what I thought it was gonna be." So
Dude,
it's got
I
large. Yeah, but what it does is it splays out. So
Yes,
it's
it
not
does.
like you just get two tails kicking, right? They're spread out,
Right.
and like crazy. They're almost to the side, and the action, but yet they still kick, which is shocking to me. I didn't think it was gonna act the way that I saw it act. So that's what
do
I
you
was
have some
shocked by.
Skimpy? Do you have any made there to show them?
I don't. I left all mine, everything that I had. I just left in Drake's boat. I didn't want to take on the airplane back with me because I had a bunch made up. But so it is 4.2 inches. So I cut off just the very tip of it right here when I'm putting it on my ChatterBait. So when I flip
I haven't
it,
made this. I need to try.
when I flip it a jig, I'll use the whole thing. But the reason I was saying what I use is because I know you guys use a lot of the like what you were showing earlier. It doesn't have that much action, just a little subtle action. Same thing with the what is it, live magic shad and the Zika or whatever that thing is.
Zacko.
Yeah, so I'm the opposite. I like it crazy. I like the hey, look at me over here. That's me.
Yeah, and sometimes, dude, and sometimes that's what it takes. That's why, like, there was people that were telling me, like, oh, if you're throwing a paddle tail on a chatterbait, you're doing it wrong. Like, that's the wrong way to do it. Like, fish don't. I'm like, whoever's telling you that is crazy.
What I do with the rippers, I actually put it upside down. I put the swim bait upside down when I put it on.
So it doesn't get as much lift, Skimp.
I think Randy was saying that. Yeah, he watched somebody was saying that to put it on upside down. I've never done it, but
I still always have a bag of Zoom finesse worms, straight tail finesse worms in every bag wherever I go, because I'll cut it, I'll rip one in half, and I'll put it on the back of things as like a trailer just to get some volume to it. But it's really, I'm not worried about the action as much, and it'll flop around, but it's not like a paddle tail. But Skimp, I watched that Bushy Beetle on the boat when we were on the Mississippi.
Yeah,
like it really performed. Like at first I was like, that's going to be too much, and then not at all.
And we slayed, man. We caught a bunch of fish.
We caught a lot of fish on ChatterBait.
Here's one. Okay, I like jigs. Paul Brown says I like jigs, but still have never caught a thing. So I want to hear a tip from each one of you guys. I'm gonna bow out of this. You guys are the jig guys. What's one tip for throwing a jig if you're talking to somebody that doesn't have confidence? What's one tip you guys can each give them to help them out?
I mean, personally, I would say don't pigeonhole yourself into the same type of retrieve. It's not always a drag. It's not always a pop. Sometimes you yo-yo it. Sometimes you almost turn it into a pseudo swim jig. You just got to try different things and, be comfortable with the idea of you're probably going to get hung up and you're probably going to break off. And who just said it? I'm not sure who just said it. I saw it pop up in chat. But slow down. If you think you're going slow enough, slow down a little bit more. And if you still think you're going slow enough, probably slow down just a little bit more.
Skimp, you got one?
Yeah. So I had a buddy, my buddy Big Sal. He never caught a fish on a jig, and he said, "I just don't know what it feels like to bite." And I was telling him, sometimes you have to watch your line, But the best way I can describe on how to feel for a bite is, well, like we talked earlier, Debo, I have clear water here so I can clearly see a log, but just throw your jig over the log and just kind of drag it over. And then when you feel that little bump over the log, that's kind of what the bite you're feeling for, or that's what you're kind of feeling for. That's what the bite kind of, but obviously we know that was a stump, and you got to make sure you know the difference between a stump and a fish, but that's kind of what the bite feels like. And that being said, is fish it slow. That's, I mean, like I said, I'm talking about flipping jigs here, not like swimming jigs, because swimming jigs, you know, you basically just cast it out and reel it up, you know. But
I think that's what most people are talking about, like, because swimming
Swim
jig is
jig?
just like like a flip in or like a
Okay.
ball head jig, because that's what I had confidence in, was just a swimming jig. You know, and to me, it's just like a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. You know, you kind of pop it, reel it in. But when you're getting to something like this, like a little football jig or like a round ball head jig or a flipping jig, I think people get kind of intimidated because it can be kind of big. This is a little finesse one, but you take a bigger half-ounce flipping jig, and that's a pretty big profile, and it's not like you're going to get 100 bites on it through the day. Most of the time, generally you're targeting those bigger fish. And Randy really opened my eyes to actually these that I was showing before. Yeah, these are 3/8. I mean, he has whooped my butt on a little 3/8 ounce ball-headed finesse jig. So really watching him has taught me a lot. But how about you, Kuda? You don't get out of this. What's yours?
So I'm going to play off of what you just said there. So, the world is obsessed with arky head jigs and football head jigs. I'm telling you, some of the best jigs that I've ever had success with on river systems has been ball head jigs with skirts on them or whatever the heck else you want to do. And so I'm just going to say, I love it all. But the thing is, smaller profile. Guys, listen, everyone says it's a big fish bait. By the time people put these plastics on the back of these jigs, these are 5-6 inch baits. How much bait is rolling around where you live that's 5 to 6 inches long? I'm just making the point that there's a lot of bait.
I was told that's really big.
Right. And and you
way above average.
I was told that was way above average for bait size.
You have to allow the bait to have a compact profile, because the smaller bait you're gonna get more bites, right? They say the bigger the bait, it's a big fish bite, right? The other thing is too, in order to catch more fish on jigs, you have to have a little bit of experience. You have to get a running start, so to speak. So swim that jig and run it like it's a spinnerbait and get some confidence with it. And then even if it's a flipping jig, get some confidence swimming parallel to logs, next to logs. If they're there and they're hungry, they're going to bite. So put yourself in a situation to have high percentage or more, a greater chance of getting bit. And then you start fine tuning it and working a little more in depth.
Yeah, if you're not losing jigs, you're not fishing in the right spots.
Right. I know the other big thing
says the same thing. Yep. If you're not losing, you're not trying.
There's a big difference. I've experienced anyway around here. Not every jig bite's going to be the exact same. There's the dunk, the hard, just the fish really wants it. There's like the little peck. Maybe they're trying to pull the claws off the craw. Then there's sometimes where you got to watch your line. The ones that I've been catching last couple of days, the only way to explain it is it just felt different. It didn't feel like you were just pulling it through the water. It almost felt like you kind of got a little bit of scum, or maybe mushy. How people talk about walleye bites. It feels like you're rolling in a wet towel or something like that. It just felt somewhat different, and you just set the hook. And especially with a jig, my whole philosophy with any hook sets is just do it as hard as physically possible. And there has been occasions where I've hook set fish up out of the water over the jetty onto the other side of the water, but hey, you never know when it's going to be the big one.
Yep.
Jeremiah Strange just brought up a good point in chat. He says flip some rocks and see what the average size of craws, then match the size. But it minimally, it's just going to give you, by doing that, it's going to give you a perception and understanding of what is some of the bait profiles. I guess when I was saying it earlier, I was talking about like bait fish, but that was a great comment about the crayfish profile or size.
So Michael really wants to know, he's asked a few times, any input on the Whopper Plopper 60? Have you guys used a Whopper Plopper 60? So this must be the little one. I was going to see if Tackle Warehouse even has it. I haven't even seen them out and about.
Is it new? Is it the new one? Because I don't remember all the numbers.
It's newer. Yeah, it's the smaller one. So the 90 is more like
is the 90 the teardrop looking one, or is the Whopper Plopper?
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
like kind of the
teardrop looking
short,
one.
fat one.
Yeah,
But this one is like,
stubby, not Mr. Stubby.
so it looks like the 90, but it's
It's more oval, more rounded.
yeah,
I
it's like
guess.
just a little guy. I don't think they even have them on here. I don't know. I have not. I guess I'll tell you, Michael. I have not. I have not.
They look like a shad. It's like a shad crank profile, to be honest. Fat,
Yeah, they're little guys.
Yep.
Let's see. I starred some and saved some up here. Let's grab some of these. Jeff said, "What lamb glass do you throw, Skimpy?"
I don't know the exact model number. I have a bunch of like the Excels, I think they're called. I don't know the model number.
Okay. That's all right.
It's the one for I saw Brennan, man. I can't quit laughing, man. Brennan is a funny guy. He says he uses my hair gel on the waffle popper to make it spin faster. So when we were in Iowa, man, I was,
no, that's bait fuel. That's bait fuel.
I was putting some pomade in my hair to slick back my hair or something, and then it was a fun night, man. It was a fun night. Would you say that? I mean, Brennan is a funny guy. So
oh yeah, that Jameson's guy was awesome.
Yeah, Kuda was a fun guy that night too. Oh man, I forgot what were we talking about.
I don't even know. Okay, Randall Pink Floyd. What's the lightest jig head weight you pour?
Oh,
that's a lot of good questions tonight.
Well, I mean, there's a Midwest finesse jig count.
I don't know. Are you talking, Mr. Randall Pink Floyd? Are you talking like a flipping jig or like a ball head jig?
Because I don't even know the smallest Midwest.
Maybe even both. Use or pour. Maybe it's a double answer. That's fair.
Like a quarter? Do you throw quarter-ounce jigs a lot?
Oh, I do. Are you talking to me? Yeah, I throw a quarter-ounce jigs. I'll definitely throw a quarter-ounce.
I throw a ton of 16th and 8th ounce ball head jigs. A ton. Might probably more
you're
than
talking
any
like
other jig size.
Are you talking like a curly tail jig type?
Yes. Yeah, and I'll pour them like so might stand and maybe different applications in different places, but just standard fishing the ponds and throwing baits at a pond. I'll throw a 90-degree line tied ball head jig and 16th ounce and 8th ounce because you're putting about a quarter ounce of plastic on it. But I usually am putting in the 16th ounce, I think a 1/0 hook, and the 8th ounce a 2/0 hook. And then I could throw any type of paddle tail on it or whatever the heck I would want. And I'll fish them at the ponds a lot too, but definitely in the rivers and creeks.
Yeah, that's a good versatile little jig. Let's see, Paul. Before I get to that, Paul. So, Skimpy and I were going back and forth on jokes. Skimpy's a dad joke guy like me. Skimpy, I heard one today that is fitting for tonight. What's a pirate's favorite fast food joint to eat at?
Arby's.
Arby's.
Yeah. How did I know that?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, Skip and I were going back and forth on dad jokes.
Debo, what's brown and sticky?
I refuse to answer that
your
question.
Beard.
A stick.
A stick. I heard that one the other day, and like I don't know why. It just got me. I couldn't stop laughing at the damn
The
thing.
only things that Randy catches. Oh,
hey, what do you call fake spaghetti? Impasta.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
All right, we gotta get this back on track. Okay, Paul Brown Jr. What's the best overall jig? So we're kind of going back into if you only get one. If you could only fish one, and I'm not saying make like this could be literally if there's a mold, like a jig that you've tried that there's not a mold for it yet. Like one that comes to mind is the Luke Clausen finesse jig. I can show you guys real quick. This is probably one of my favorite jig molds. I wish Do It would do one like this. But if you go over to Dirty Jigs,
oh, now I got to see this. What I got to see what this one looks like.
So
Devo,
it's basically a ball head jig, basically a ball head jig, but it's completely recessed down into it. And the big thing for me is it comes in a 5/16 ounce. Okay. So it's a completely recessed head or a line tie within the head. little ball head, and it comes in 5/16. My favorite to fish from the bank, if I can get away with it, is a 5/16. I think you get snagged less. I know Randy likes a 3/8, but just for me, if I can get away with it, if there's not current or there's not a bunch of wind, man, I'm really in love with that 5/16.
Debo, that Luke Clausen ball head jig without the skirt, I just looked it up. So the barb on it is maybe like a little smaller version of what's on the hybrid grass jig, but this was an old mold by Do It Molds, and a friend of mine has the mold and I don't, and it's my favorite ball head mold. And maybe they're not using a manufactured mold, maybe they have another process they're using. But if there's anyone out there that has that old version ball head jig with that angled barb on it, and you'd be willing to get rid of it, hit me up sometime, because I'm looking to get my own so I don't have to borrow my buddies.
Hook up Kuda. Kuda's got money. He'll pay. Hook him up. So what do you got, boys? What's your favorite? If you're grabbing one out of your box, what's like your favorite overall? And we can go. This doesn't have to be something we make. Like I said, if there's something that you've bought before, you're like, oh, dude, this is awesome.
Man, to be honest, I mostly fish what I make now. I mean, it's to that point where I make pretty much everything, so I just fish. But man.
Yeah, real quick, fishing after the dark. No, none of us use bismuth for jig making. We are all lead guys.
Yeah.
So
I hate these questions, man, but oh man, I'll have to say 3/8 or maybe a half.
I'm at 8:07 on comments. I'm 30 minutes behind on comments, guys. I'm so sorry.
I'll say if I had to pick one jig to fish all year or whatever, it'd probably be the poison tail jig, or maybe even the hybrid grass jig. Man, those things you can.
I think I might have a brown
swim them. You can drag them. You can do everything. It's an all-in-one jig, and so the poison tail, that was like superior, man. That was like the best. And then now they came out with that hybrid grass jig, and it's just pretty much the hybrid grass jig is pretty much a better poison tail jig, is what it is. So I would have either
they're all upside
or a half.
What about you, Randall?
Or Randy? Dizzle.
I'm pretty much just stuck on a War Eagle jig. That's what I'm gonna throw. I mean, there's 100 jigs like them. I have no idea why. I only feel comfortable with a War Eagle jig. It's what my confidence was birthed in, I guess.
What size are you doing?
What is it? The
3/8.
3/8. Yeah, they have 3/8 and half ounce for their finesse jigs. They're like Debo said, there's plenty of times where it's been, he's got that smaller jig than what I do, and I am just getting every other cast. I'm like, oh, there goes another. The body count keeps going up on lost jigs, and he's not having any of the issues. Is that, is it 100% the weight of the jig, or is it, half and half, the weight of the jig and where he's thrown compared to where I am?
There was sticker talk, and people were talking about different stickers on their boat, and Hammer said, my boat has peeling paint on it. I thought that was funny because, that's my John boat. Let's see. What else? What do we got for, brown orange when it's super cold down here in Texas? Dude, I am not like a brown, red, brown orange.
Brown orange, that's an awesome color right there. It's almost like a cross type color. I'll use brown and orange mostly when I'm like dragging footballs with like a hula grub or something on the bottom, and I'm just dragging it through the rocks. Brown and orange all day.
It's the only time you'll ever get me to use a brown jig if you put some orange in it. That's true. Now you're drawing me in.
Brown. Brown is a solid color. Add a little bit of purple in there too. The peanut butter. And
dude, I was just gonna say, dude, I love purple so much, and even like PB&J, no luck on it. June bug all day, I'll throw it. PB&J, no, it doesn't catch fish around here.
I honestly think that anytime that I can combine colors and put June bug and green pumpkin together, it's the most deadly color combination that I think I've ever used fishing. green pumpkin with an accentuating, one way or the other, either a green or June bug jig with a green pumpkin trailer or the reverse. And if I could do that, like I feel like I'm mixing the best of two worlds.
See, Ty Carbide's an Iowa guy. I feel like I'm gonna have to meet up with him. He said green pumpkin purple, and that
Man,
was
green
kind of
pumpkin
my
purple is
guess.
fire. That's
Like
awesome.
I feel like I'm going to change my answer several times during this discussion.
There's a War Eagle does a Phantom Brown Craw, and that's got red, a little bit of orange, and brownish, like a dark green into brown. I really like that one. And they have another, what is this? Pond Scum Perch. It's got a little blue and orange, darker red, browns, and green. So yeah, I don't know what DEBO'S talking about where they don't like any brown colors around here.
I don't have confidence in them. I know they do. I know there's guys around here. Jim actually brings up a really good point: black, black, and black.
Yep.
An all black jig, black head, black skirt. Because dude, then you can go with any sort of trailer you want and mix it up. You can go with the June bug trailer to give it a different look. You can go with a green pumpkin. Like you can, black really is. I mean, it's boring, and I think that's why it doesn't sell. And maybe it does sell, but I guess like for a pick, it's kind of boring. People like to have this, like this one. This is, I think everybody's looking for that. Here we go. This is, what do they call it? Yeah, black. War Eagle calls this black, blue, purple chartreuse, and it just lists off.
Yeah, literally all the colors.
It's the Skimpy jig.
No, I don't go that crazy.
But you know what I mean? Like people are looking for that special color that's like, oh, dude, it's got black, blue, purple, and chartreuse. Like that's the key. And I think oftentimes, like we're just making stuff harder than it really is, like all black or an all green pumpkin with.
That's a great comment, Debo. So like Jim's an old school person in terms of like he remembers some of these old school strategies. Not that other people don't, but Jim's he's always in a chat somewhere and he brings these things up and like brings us back to even sometimes where he just reminds us of these simple proven things that have never really gone away. It's just everyone kind of moved on to all these other colors. And
lures do the same thing. Lures
Yes.
go in rotations too, like Tequila Sunrise. Back when Dad and I were fishing, like everybody around was like, there was lakes here. If you weren't throwing Tequila Sunrise, you weren't getting bit. And then it kind of fell off. Like people weren't throwing it. Now they've got all these other things and like spinner baits, spinner baits and a Tequila Sunrise worm, dude, you could crush. And then the ChatterBait come out and like spinner baits, everybody's spinner baits don't work now. The ChatterBait's the king. And like, lures kind of go in ebbs and flows too, just like I think colors probably do. So.
Oh, absolutely. And let's be honest. I mean, there's a whole other end. We fish and then we collect tackle, so we basically have combined two hobbies. And how many people have, just curious, I know there's got to be other nutty people out there besides me when it comes to this, but there's times where I get stressed about packing tackle and fishing tackle to go fishing. And those are
because you're scared you're going to leave out that golden lure that, oh, dude, if I'd have had this, if I'd have packed this today, it would have caught all the fish.
It's like, well, that works. And that works. And so it becomes maddening sometimes. And I think that, like, listen, I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Because Skimpy said to me one day, Skimp says, Kuda, you have all these fancy pants jig makers on your show sometimes. He goes, I don't do all that stuff. And the crazy thing is, like, we don't have to do all the fancy and super cool and complicated colors, even just as average everyday fishermen. Like we don't need all this extra stuff. Sometimes we get it because I'm convinced it just makes us feel good. And then we have some success on it. And then we're like, okay, we like the game of knowing that we could change it up once in a while. But I don't even know if we need
it's
it
the
all.
fun of tinkering.
Yes. It's the fun of tinkering.
Dave, I kind of like this one, white jig head, pink skirt, brown trailer, the Neapolitan jig. Need to make some of those up. Going ice cream on them.
I don't.
The Neo jig.
Chocolate chip mint. We could do some chocolate chip mint jigs. Actually, I poured some plastics that look kind of like chocolate chip mint. Let's see what other questions we have. We're at an hour 9. Skimp, whenever you need to get out of here, brother. If you need to go for the date, I'm telling you. Don't feel obligated, my man. I don't want you to get in trouble with the old lady before date night.
I'm taking her out to steak dinner tonight, man.
Oh,
Telling you.
fancy to make up for it.
No, man. I'm good. I've been getting my brownie points, man. I've been a good boy lately. So
Tracks. Dude, yeah, I was blown away when I got an Antares DC from a subscriber, and I'm just gonna say Jeff is all I'm gonna leave it at. But they sent me a reel that's an expensive reel. I tried to send it back. But yes, I will be doing a video on it because I about pooped my pants when I opened that up and saw that in there. So you guys, and I kind of talked about that in the post, you guys keep me going. All the positive comments, not just sending me stuff, literally just commenting and saying how much I've helped and, having fun people on like these. And there's so many people that look forward to these Saturday Night Lives just to hang out with us and talk fishing, like a bunch of guys around the campfire talking fishing, having a dad pop, hanging out. That's what it's about.
Hey, Faith First Fishing at 841 asked, do y'all prefer craw trailers or paddle tail / fish imitators?
I use both.
Personally,
I'm at 8:19. I'm gonna skip over 20 minutes of comments here.
My bad.
Dude, I'm so bad. I'm sorry.
If I'm throwing a jig, I'm not gonna throw one if I don't have a craw trailer, and more specifically, I'm gonna feel more comfortable with the Rage Tail Chunks Strike Kings, that combo, and I'll even trim my skirt down on my War Eagle and make it even more compact, more kind of small package. Let the trailer itself stand out a little bit more. And that's what I'm going with.
If I'm flipping it 100%, I'm using some kind of craw or creature on the back. Now, if I'm swimming it, for the most part, I'll use a swim bait, but I definitely will use a Mad Dad 3XL craw as well on there too.
I'm sad I skipped over all these. You guys must have been reading these chuckling, and I'm just now.
I was.
What's a pirate favorites fish? I got her. I'm so far behind, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gramps, love me some tungsten jigs. You feel everything. Yeah, I was not a believer for the longest time in like tungsten. I honestly don't use tungsten jigs, but tungsten worm weights, like when I'm dragging over stuff, and you really can feel the difference.
Yeah.
And now they're a lot more affordable. Like there for a while, man, they were just stupid expensive, and they still are expensive, but better, I guess, now than before. So yeah, I agree, Gramps, absolutely. Let's see, 841. I'm not even there yet. I am still rolling through. Oh my goodness. Oh, here's a good one. Skimpy, what trailer do you like to use on that buzzbait that you throw?
Okay, so sometimes, man, I just fish it with no trailer, and other
just a skirt, right? Just a skirt.
Yeah, just a skirt. And other times, I'll just take off the skirt and everything, and I'll use a frog, or I'll use a what the hell is that called? I think it's called it's a berry bug. There's two different sizes. I can't remember, but I messed up because the first one I had was the bigger size one, and it was just too big for it. And then I started using the smaller size. And the funniest thing about it is I was actually talking to Matt Luna, and he does the same thing.
I was actually going to say Luna. So I was throwing a Yo Mama. Yeah, it's like an old school Yo Mama. So I was throwing, my buddy Brando gave me some old school Yo Mamas from Yum, which look kind of like those, a double, almost like a curly tail bug looking thing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he said. He's like, Debo, if you like throwing those, look up the Do It, whatever you just said. And I was like, I didn't even know they made that.
Yeah.
Jermaine,
awesome.
Hit me up. I got you, brother. I owe you for a giveaway from before. So hit me up. Let me know what colors and sizes you need, my friend. I got you.
But make sure you get, if you're going to do it for the buzz bait, make sure you get the smaller one. The bigger one, actually, I have one of my PBs on the bigger one, and I just straight Texas rigged it because it's a very versatile bait there as well. I Texas rigged that. I'll use it as a jig trailer, and like I said, use it as a buzz bait.
You could cut it off and use it as a jig trailer too if you needed to. Yeah,
I have the smaller one. The bigger one's pretty big. I know it only is like 4.5, but just it's pretty big. And but yeah, the 3.5 awesome bait, must have. The only problem is they only make it in one cavity. The 4.5 5, they make it in a 2 cavity, but it sucks only being able to do shoot one at a time, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Will, I think Will sent you a gift, Randy. Somebody else sent you a gift. I had to move all my gift stuff. My old lady made me clean up stuff down here. Talking about earning your brownie points, I was definitely not earning my brownie points because I kind of had this half of the basement, and it was starting to overrun to basically the whole basement. And she laid down the law on me. Usually we're 50-50 in this relationship, but she laid down the law on me. I gotta fix up half the basement. So my stuff's kind of disorganized, but I know there's a couple people sent you stuff. So Will, if that's what you're talking about, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm behind on that, so we'll get that.
Hey, where are you? What time are you at? What was the last one you read?
Hey, Nick's in here. I'm just reading. I'm at 8:37. So Nick over at the Bait Cave, another tackle maker. Speaking of guys that taught me jig stuff, so Skimpy and Luna, watch their stuff to learn jigs. The Bait Cave, always give my hat tip where it's due. Mr. Rundle, Mr. Nick himself, those guys over at the Bait Cave, I appreciate them a ton, helping me out and teaching me all that. So.
Let's see. Whenever you get a chance, what was it? 8:45. South Jersey fisherman had a question for all of us.
Okay, I will get to that one. This is actually a good one too. So my answer to this, and I want to see where you guys roll. Cisco says skirt on a buzzbait or no skirt, when and where to undress it. So I go naked buzzbait, and I actually only do naked frog buzzbait. I don't do like a naked, like I would a chatterbait with like a paddle tail. I go naked frog buzzbait pretty much 99% of the time, I would say in the summer. Anytime I would be throwing a frog, because I think that more compact, when they're really smashing it, like that little compact profile is just a killer. Once you start to get into the cooler water, so I'm not really throwing a frog anymore, like Skimpy was saying, throwing a buzzbait now for fall fishing. That's when I'm going to go with like a skirted buzzbait with like a little tiny like Kitech type deal on it to imitate shad. And that can be black or white. I know a lot of people say throw only white to mimic shad, match the hatch, blah, blah, blah. Do it in all black buzzbait, skirted. Great way to catch in the fall.
Hey, guys, I'm going to be right back. I got to go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. No worries.
Izzle, what about you, bub?
As far as I honestly don't throw a lot of buzz baits. I'm gonna pull a Debo real quick. Where is
you're gonna get handsome real quick? You're already handsome, buddy. You don't need a change. I love you the way you are.
This is the last buzz bait I was throwing. This is the firecracker.
Jackal firecracker, yep.
Personally, and I got a little
I like that little blade on
of it. Yeah, the little whatever, and it has like a different kind of sound to it, opposed to the other ones. I'm usually going skirted, but I have, God, I don't know who made it. I picked up a couple of new no skirt, just the frog, like a toad runner type of bait. I don't have as much confidence in those, so I'm probably going skirted.
Like this. This has been my favorite this year. This is probably my top catcher. Go ahead, Randy. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I'm probably going skirted. And that's
Showed you guys these before. The Picasso Toad Slayer. This is the double one. I actually haven't thrown this one, but just the single one. It's kind of a smaller, more compact.
That looks
but the lead on it, I'll show you here real quick. The lead on it, I know I've showed these a bunch of times. The lead actually has its own little grabber here. So when you put your frog up on it, it grabs it right there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I really like these. Jim, Tackle Junkie, he uses a bunch of the Picasso stuff. I really haven't used a ton, but he's like, yeah, check out those buzz baits. It's a Hank Cherry. Oh, here's what they show on the back, the frog versus like the shad. And I really never throw the bottom with the shad ever. For me, it's a naked frog type buzz bait in the summer.
Nice.
Ty Carbide. So Bait Cave should join the Zoom. I'm actually going to have Nick on, and I want to have Arthur on. I haven't seen him in here, but Fish Daddy 401. I want to have him and Nick because it's kind of a funny all-around story between those two guys and me, which is kind of similar. in how we got started and where we learned. So I don't want to spoil that one, but that'll be another basically soft plastic making type thing is what those guys do. I know Nick has done jig stuff too, but really giving thanks to those guys and talking all soft plastics. We'll get them on for a live. Chris, are we in a molt window for the full moon? So molt, the big, huge craw molt that goes on, Randy and I hit one that's been 2 years ago. We walked around a pond and there was about 17,000 craw carcasses and craws.
Mm-hmm.
I hit one, dude. I hit one like right on the morning after or two more. I don't know, 2 weeks after, whatever. But dude, I was walking around a pond and there was little craws just, I mean, everywhere. It was insane. Usually that's like the first full moon in, gosh, I want to say June when there's like that big, huge molt. There might be a fall one. I don't know. But dude, there's like the big one is, and I don't remember what the temperature is. I'd have to go back and look, but here in Iowa, I want to say it's like June, Chris. I'd have to go back and look, but all right, Skimp, you still alive? You all right, buddy?
Man, I was holding that pee for a while.
Dude, roll out whenever you need to.
Oh,
we keep it loose around here.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate
Debo
it.
tends to get a little long-winded from time to time, and
Shut up,
you just
Randy.
gotta pause him real quick. Hey, stop talking.
Oh, there's Fish Daddy. Arthur, I was talking about. Arthur, I want to get you and Rendell on for a live one night and
Fish
talk soft
Daddy.
plastics. Cisco says, yeah, I love purple translucent cranks, no rattle. Yeah, see, like, I haven't messed a ton with purple in my cranks. I've got a few, but definitely not like my jigs and stuff. Yes, the toxic bug color on Beast Coast jigs. Who is it actually I found? I was going through plastics. Color that's underrated in missile baits. If you guys throw missile bait stuff, is called toxic grape. So
Yeah.
going right back to what we were talking about before, Skimp.
Grape.
Purple or a June bug-ish kind of, and
With the
green
green.
pumpkin on the bottom.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah.
Debo, what's
There's a
that?
place
What's
on
that
Earth.
one? What's that one
like
brand?
a Belinda
that you
Carlisle
really like?
song.
What's that, Randall? Sorry. Tell
What's
Kuda
that?
to shut up with his whatever he's talking about over here.
I'm never gonna do that. I am gonna tell you to shut up and listen, though. What's that one
That's
brand
fine.
color that you really like? It's like a purple and a green or something like that. You really love them.
Oh, the Googie one? Yeah, I did. The old Googies, they made a good green pumpkin purple.
They
Love them
really
or hate
did.
them. They did make a good color there. And Kuda, I'm teasing. You don't have to shut up. You just tell me to shut up.
I
on your
laugh,
show.
man. I dish it out. I have to take it a little too. It's all good.
We got to have fun here. This is
That's
what
exactly
fishing's all
right.
about and hanging out. Junebug, we got more Junebug votes. Okay, you said at 8:40. When was
841.
Brendan's? Oh, I skipped it then. 8:41.
Or sorry, 851. 851.
Oh my
bad.
God, Randy.
I mean, we started talking about that 40 minutes ago somehow.
Jeez. I'm sorry, I'm behind. Yeah, Ty Carbide said again, yeah, for sure. Could I get stressed out? Dude, I'm with you there. I get stressed out trying to pack too sometimes.
Yeah, the thing that comes with packing, just real quick, that like packing stuff up and doing all that stuff. I feel the most stressed when I feel like I've taken way too much. I'm like, I took way too much. I'm never going to use all this stuff. Why am I doing this? Why am I taking all these? I don't need 12 rods fishing from the bank. I don't need 58 pounds worth of soft plastics and then another 38 pounds of hard baits. I'm never going to use them all. That's one thing I kind of get stressed on.
Oh no, this is
yeah. No, that's it.
Okay. Okay, so Matthew asked, Debo, Dizzle, Kuda, Skimpy, what are your go-to baits when the water temps are below 55 degrees, and do you focus on fall rate? So I'm talking like lure fall rate, I'm guessing he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Any cranks are you going with? Suspend, slow sink, etc. So I would say my number one here in the Midwest, once the waters start to get below, and it's got to be really close to that, if not below that right now, because I was freezing my strawberries off today out there. For me, it's going to be a suspending jerkbait, man.
Facts.
Yeah, and you can fish that down all the way until you got hard water. It's just going to depend on your pause. So the big thing with that suspending jerkbait is pop, pop, and then just not touching it. Like the biggest mistake I used to make was I would pop, pop, and then kind of reel up that slack.
Yeah, keep it
and then
loose.
Yep, because then the bait's going chit, chit, and then going oh with some dummy reeling it. So
Yep.
you really want it to just go and then just on a dime. And then once you go from there, it's going to be how long you pause between. So it might be like right now, I'm probably going to pause like pop, pop, and then wait maybe 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, pop, pop. And then as you get colder, it's going to be like 10, 15, 20 seconds,
Yep.
which is hard for me, but that's what a lot of those walleye guys are doing around here. I'm not good at it when it's that cold. I know blade baits are another big one around here, and I am horrible with blade baits. I get them snagged all the time from the bank. So how about you guys? Below 55?
Same thing, a 110. So I'm doing the jerk bait. And the colder it gets, the longer your pauses are. So
Yep.
Go ahead.
Dizzle.
No, I was just going to say the same thing, but I'm also going to throw a jig too, because
I was going to say, no, you weren't. You were going to say, well,
I really,
my trusty war eagle. And if you think you're going too slow, go slower.
God, I'm going to kick you so hard.
This is I'm having a blast, guys. This thing is awesome.
Debo, P.S. I still haven't gotten out of shorts, and we were on a freeze warning last night. It dropped down to like 27.
Well, I wouldn't question that. You're a Huskers fan guy now, so I wouldn't question that. Makes sense for a Huskers guy. Kuda, how about you?
So mine's going to throw people off a little bit, but keep in mind I'm a river rat, and I'm going to throw a old school floating Rapala, and it absolutely slays the bass and it slays the walleye. So you're not trying to get that thing all the way down, but if you're throwing that thing in current, and we throw that thing almost all winter long for walleye and just slowly creep it where that thing's barely moving. It's basically the same concept, or you get the same action out of it that people recognize in a spy bait, but it's in a floating bait and it's on top of the surface, barely under the water, barely retrieving it. You're reeling it tight enough to keep tension on the line, super slow. And any fish as you come in over ledges and stuff like that are going to slam it. So we get bit a lot on the river systems by bass and walleye. Floating Rapalas when it gets cold out. And Debo left on that. He didn't like my answer.
Oh, geez.
New camera. I don't know. It's picking up all my ugly imperfections. Now it just keeps freezing. It's like, man, should we allow this guy on here?
I do like jigs a lot though too. Jigs and plastics. I'm not throwing a lot of skirted anythings at that type of temperature, but a lot of skirted. I like a lot of curly tailed things, some hybrid type that are there's hybrid baits out there that are in between, like a paddle tail body, but or excuse me, I should say bait fish body, but that has a curly tailed tail. And I like baits like that when it gets colder out, but not for straight retrieves. I'll fish those on the bottom and just slight subtle action and movement of the tail as you're moving it along. I think you get bit.
So one thing that happens, maybe I just need to do this more. When I jump out and leave, it deletes all my old comments. So now I'm caught up on comments. Look how easy that was. Yeah,
Jesus.
got caught up real easy. Okay, let's do a giveaway. We're an hour and a half in. We'll go for maybe another 10, 15 minutes here. I know Skimpy's got a hot date. Kuda's probably got a hot date.
I'm
Who
going
knows
with
what Randall's
Skimpy.
doing out there in Husker country.
Kuda doesn't have his Kuda in the back.
I don't. Multiple people have said this tonight, that they said, "What's the deal?" And I some of you already know that I change this out. I take these
Every
down
time.
and I put the Kuda. The Kuda is up in our family room of our house. So the wifey is awesome and allows me to put fish stuff up like that. So the Kuda comes up here, and until I get the basement, I'm ready to go with my shop in the basement. I just don't know if I want to keep adding stuff. So it's here for now. This is the staging area.
All right, so we're gonna do a hashtag Diz on this, short for Dizzle, the real hero of the channel. Hashtag Diz.
You Diz.
So and
Hey.
we got to figure out what are we giving away tonight? What should I give away, fellas? What should we do for a
Metanium.
lucky winner tonight?
Metanium.
Not giving away a metanium. Well, I might do another reel sometime soon, though. We'll have to get it all figured out. Tin
do a
Horse in here.
members.
Gabe, what's up, brother? Fresh
Hey,
hat dizzle.
Debo, I want to ask the question to the other two, as far as the question I sent you earlier today with text. Do you guys ever hook up with a fish? Sounded weird that I said it that way. Do you ever catch a fish, and as you're reeling it in, you get caught on, I have to assume, some sort of line, and this is as you're fishing from the bank. So you're a bank fisherman.
Sure, it's happened.
You have it. What's the resolution to that dilemma? You're hooked on. You can't get the fish. You've tried multiple things. You can't get the fish to swim out and around or underneath and around the line that's in the water that snagged you up. What do? Obviously, the fish still has your lure in its mouth, whatever bait you're throwing. What's your go-to? This happened to me today, actually, a couple hours ago.
You got to
So
open
throughout-
up that.
It hooked itself on like a line or a rope or something.
Yeah, so
And then-
it pulled
Or
hard,
a
and
tree.
I thought,
So really anything, right? Like it gets hooked on a tree or anything
wanna
you're
say-
fishing from the bank. What are you going to do?
yep, I want to say it was probably some braid. And honestly, I was on the bank reaching out as far as I could. I even was putting my rod tip in the water, trying to go up and around and all that stuff, and I couldn't get it out. And even tried to poke at the hook to see if I could pop the hook loose and just let it go that way. What's your guys' option?
I guess it matters how deep it is.
I'm in my.
I'll probably just take my shoes off and jump in there.
So the bad thing is it's an extreme drop off from the bank. It probably drops down. I put my, God, I don't even know, 7-foot rod, and I was down to my reel
Oh,
trying to touch the bottom. So it's an extreme drop off right there.
okay. Man,
Open the bail.
I don't. Yeah.
So I opened up the bail. I tried, popping it. I tried honestly everything. And I want to say it was about 5 minutes. And I was like, I got to do something. Something's got to happen or this fish is going to die. I hate doing that to a fish regardless.
Right.
So
I honestly think that more times than not, when that happens, it's the line that gets caught up. And it's not the fish that gets caught up in the hook. So like you're thinking, so basically my thinking is if I break off the line, that fish at least has possibly a chance. I probably would have broken off long before you did, brother. Plug knocker, Jeff's saying in chat, you could try a plug knocker, but the goofy thing is when it feels soft, right? And you don't, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, it's not enough to pull in. You're trying to drag it in. It can't.
yeah.
You're done for.
I guess just cut it and pray for the best. I guess.
Yeah. So the good thing is I managed to get, like I said, as close to the water's edge as physically possible. And I reached my knife out there as far as I could to, give it a good cut. And I didn't see the fish wasn't floating or anything like that. I saw a good tail kick on it when it went away. So it was some kind of weird snagged on this line that was just in the water that I just couldn't figure it out.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, he did a real hard pull, and then it must have just been, a perfect storm of there happened to be a line right there connected to.
Did you have braid on?
No, it was like 17-pound floral. And I was trying to just give it a good tug as well, just to see if I could get whatever that other line was to pop, and I couldn't do it.
I don't know.
Yeah, like the two things for me, Raina and I were talking about it before. Either I'm going to keep constant pressure, and usually what'll happen, like if the fish, because when you set the hook, and like usually the fish will go for cover, and then it'll usually like wrap around one thing. So if you keep constant pressure where you're just slowly pulling it, and like that fish will like barely work its way out and you're good. So like if you hook something, my first thing is always just to keep constant pressure, not pulling on it, but just like keep light pressure where I'm guiding the fish. Number two, if I can't, I'll click my bait caster over or your spinning reel, click it over, give it a little bit of line and see if it'll work itself out. And then I'll try reeling up to it a couple times. Click it, give it some line, reel it up. And if you can't, there's not much you can do either. Tear down to your skivvies and go scuba dizzling after it or cut the line.
Dizzling.
So
Yeah, it was one of
Yeah.
those situations where I think it probably wrapped two or three times, Debo, where it wasn't just gonna, come undone as easy as that. And unfortunately,
it probably tied a Palomar knot around the tree.
I think it was a double shindo. I saw him doing some crazy spins and flips.
Oh, that's
with
why
it.
it held so good. Yeah, if it was the Palomar, it would have broke. See,
And
it was Luna. Dang it! I keep thinking Skimpy was on the boat with me. Luna and I were talking about knots, and I said Luna lost a fish. He's like, dude, that was a good one. He broke off. I was like, what knot did you tie? He's like, oh, it was a Palomar. Why? I was like, oh, dude, no wonder. And his reaction was like, why? He's like, that's all I ever tie. Then I had to like go back and tell him the story of like, oh, me and Randy give each other crap about knots, and he always ties a Palomar, and I give him crap about it.
That was the hardest day fishing in the entire world, and it was like
Be right
I felt
back,
like
folks.
Sam Jackson in Snakes on a Plane because there was nothing but snakes all over the shoreline. And I get one fish to come up and bite my jig, and I set the hook on it, and it pops right at the knot that Debo made me tie on there. It was a double flimdo bimdo or something. I have no idea what it was, but it broke. My Palomar wouldn't have.
We got all kinds of interesting requests. So we've only got 97 entries, 231 people watching. Nobody wants a giveaway. Hashtag Diz if you're just watching. Hashtag DIZZ. We're doing a giveaway. It'll probably be some tackle. I don't know. Who knows what I'll throw in? It'll be a little box of goodies. Usually we've always got at least like 150 people in here, but we only got 100 entries. Maybe I just need to stop doing the giveaways. Nobody cares. Let's see. We'll see if we can get to like 120. See if we can get to 120 people entered. Fish in the Southeast has a good one. This or that. Bluegill or shad color swim jig.
Easy.
Skimp, what do you throw?
Bluegill all day. We don't really have shad here in Washington, so I'm going bluegill or perch.
Oh, good call. Yep. How about you, Randall?
Shad will still work here though, but
I'm probably going bluegill too, just because they're more abundant around us than anything else. I feel like they're the popular forage for all the other fish.
And it's a good way to mimic. I mean, you can go crappie, white bass, hybrid, yellow bass. A white jig can mimic kind of all those. So I don't think it necessarily has to be. I think that's what a lot of people think. Oh, if it's white, it's shad color. But you can mimic a whole bunch of other stuff with that too. How about you, Kuda? We got you blocked down there. Sorry.
What's the question?
Bluegill or shad colored swim jig? What are you throwing, Norman?
I'll be honest
and we
with
need
you.
6 more entries. Hashtag Diz. 6 more people. We'll draw.
I'm going to go with bluegill, even though I think I should be using shad more. Because I historically always throw some version of bluegill or something like that, or like a green sunfish colored in the jigs I make. And I feel like I need to go with more whites and pearls.
Yeah. Yep. Especially in like dirty water. There's just something about dirty water that white stands out so well in a lot of the places around here, or like white with a little bit of chartreuse. South Jersey made a really good point. A lure retriever, like the pole, so like the extendable poles, work better from the bank. And dude, that's 100% because I've tried to use lure knockers or plug knockers. And if you've never used one, essentially what that means is, so here's
the retriever that looks like a little dog.
Yeah, so my lure stuck out there. It's got this big weight. So I'm back here with my rod. I've got my rod reeled up. I tie this lure knocker on it and I send it down. And it's a big heavy weight. And it slides all the way down to where I'm snagged. The problem with bank fishing is if I'm hooked on a log on the back side of it back here and I send my lure retriever down, it's just hitting the front of the log or whatever's in front of it. And it's just not like it works from a boat where you can get over it or kind of around it. So I agree. I just I'll make
a good idea.
Yeah. Randy, you can carry that around in your backpack. You'll look like one of the old Army communication guys with the big old
with the long super.
Backpack. Yeah.
It's got to be real floppy though, as it walk around with it.
Okay, what are we at? Let's see. What are we at for giveaway? Hey, we got 122. Okay, we're gonna draw, and then we're gonna get out of here. Fun Saturday night, guys. Thank you all for joining. Kuda, Skimp, Mr. Dizzle. I appreciate you guys.
I'm having a blast, man. It's fun.
Always fun.
All right, here we go.
All right, who is it?
Giveaway
Who
quick.
is it?
Who's it going to be? You're going on the board.
Got to be present to win.
Oh, Matthew. Okay, well, Matthew, for you, I got to paint up some jerk baits. You were saying you don't throw the jerk baits much. I've got some extra stunnas back there. I don't have a ton of like dull colored jerk bait because I could paint up.
Has
for you,
Matthew ever won? I mean, what a great dude. He's always supporting everyone, at least from a lot of our scenes community, right?
Yes.
What a great
He's a
person.
good cat. Let's see. I want to make sure. So Matthew, send me an email or just hit me up on Instagram, whichever.
Liza.
DEBO'SFishing@gmail.com. Matthew, it's easier for me to keep track that way if you can, but if not, just send me an Instagram. It doesn't matter. With your YouTube, because I have had imposters trying to get free tackle from Debo saying, "Hey, I won," and it's like not anybody I've ever heard of, and they're just trying to throw the old 1-2 dip-a-doo on me. And
Hey, man, I only did that 3 times to you, Debo. You don't have to keep bringing it up. 3 times? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I did it.
People really
told me about
myself.
People really
Drake-
email you and say they won?
yeah, dude. Yeah, I've had multiple. There was one night I had like 4 emails. I'm like, I picked
Did you
one
really?
giveaway winner. What the hell is going on?
Stupid.
So that was before I did this. I'm sorry, not emails. I had like 4 Instagram messages of people
But
saying
still,
I
same
won.
thing.
Yeah. So then I started doing this where I'm like, you have to email me with a screenshot of your YouTube. Matthew, I should know it's you, but just send me a screenshot of your YouTube. DEBO'SFishing@gmail.com. Matthew, at least a jerk bait. And I don't know what you need, brother. You're a tackle nerd like me, so I don't know. You'll have to hit me up. And
Matt's baits are all gigantic swim baits.
that's true. Yeah, he's a swim bait nerd, so I don't know
He
if he'll
likes
fish the
everything.
stuff that I got
He's
for
a
you.
very diverse angler.
Here's another one. So Shan brings up a good point. Shan the man, fish skin pigment changes in stained water. So that's another good thing to talk about is no, are we not supposed to talk about that?
No, I'm teasing. It's
we don't want to give away the secrets.
It's an awesome point, and I think it's one that everyone should know. If you
That's actually what this was.
Baits, or if you make your own baits.
Look at this.
You should know that point.
Yeah, because so I keep so to show you for lure references, I have 125 pictures that I've saved here, and this is just all different like people's stuff that I'll see on Instagram or fish that I've caught. Like, look at this. This is from my buddy. I think this was from Jeff Gerald on the Hudson River. Look at this pumpkin seed that he caught.
Look at that thing.
Look at how pretty some of these fish are. Yeah, vibrant. I think that was Jeff, or that was Joseph, New York, Wayfarer. Some good cats that follow me, but basically I save all these pictures, and there's some from me ice fishing, a bluegill in the summer or a crappie in the summer versus a bluegill or crappie in like winter water too. Huge difference. Or like you go really stained muddy water versus clear water, completely different colors. Okay, so let's each one of us will grab, let's say 2 more. So Kuda and Skimpy, each one of you grab a question. Each one of us are going to answer them, and then we're getting out of here since you guys are the guests tonight.
Well, I saw one that said, I don't know where it went, but something about the matte color. So when you pour plastics, Do It Molds has CNC molds and they have sand cast aluminum molds. And a lot of people don't like the sand cast aluminum molds is because when they come out with that matte look. And I'm going to tell you right now, I actually prefer that matte look. I've said it a million times. If some pro fisherman wins the Bassmaster Classic or whatever, and he said, I caught it on a matte looking fish, then everybody would want that, you know? I don't know. I like, especially when you're fishing, when you're making the craws in the what do you call it? The ES series molds from Do It Mold. I like the craw when it's all matte looking, and to me, it looks more realistic. So,
agreed.
Critical. I did get your email now too. His question was biscuits and gravy or gravy and biscuits. Oh, here's one for both of you. I don't know if we've done that. Skimpy. This doesn't count as the question. What's your take on biscuits and gravy? Yay or nay?
Like like eating biscuits and gravy.
10.
Yeah, you like them or no?
Yeah, I like biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
So I actually know a guy who's nicknamed Biscuits and Gravy.
Oh my God.
So when you
That
said it, I was
is-
like, "Are you talking about Jay?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like biscuits and gravy?" No, I think that if you don't eat biscuits and gravy, I don't know if I can trust you.
Number one, if I walk up to you with my dog and you say, I don't like dogs, get that away from me, I can't trust you. And two, if I walk up to you and you tell me you don't eat biscuits and gravy, I also can't trust you. I agree with Skimpy there.
Okay, you do have to take into consideration Mr. Stubbies has got a little bit of like pillow, like couch pillow tied to his or attached to his collar.
Mr. Stubby Dog's not real good with personal space. He was actually down here clawing at the door, probably not to see me. He really just wants to go visit his pillow. I'll see if he's still here.
Have relations with the couch cushions.
So
He's not.
So are there
he's
people
not-
that say they
he's not
don't
fit.
like biscuits and gravy?
Yeah, so my buddy Jim, Tackle Junkie, has never even had them. And then and then we were talking to people who are like, oh, biscuits and gravy are overrated. One guy said it's flour mixed with, it's hard flour in the biscuits mixed with liquid flour in the gravy. I don't like my flour with flour. And I'm like, that's what makes them good. It's a whole bunch of flour and gluten.
Put a little bit of hot sauce in there. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Golly.
little red eye gravy. Okay.
Woo.
So let's 2 more questions. We got, oh my gosh, we're almost at 2 hours, boys. I'm sorry. I didn't think we'd be running this long. 2 more questions. All of us are going to answer quick, then we're getting out of here. Or just one if we find one real good one. Ooh, here's an interesting one, not related. What's the best jig YouTube channel?
As far as
Are we
fishing or
talking-
making them?
Making or fishing? I don't know.
I haven't.
Well,
answered.
check out Skimpy. Skimpy, where can everybody find you? Number one, Skimpy does a ton of making.
You can give me youtube.com/that guy Skimpy, and the same thing on Instagram and Facebook, just that guy Skimpy. And then
Oh my gosh. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
no, that's just Instagram. I even started a TikTok. I'm not really active. I'm mostly only active on YouTube and Instagram. Yep.
So you're not doing the TikTok dances, or you are?
Well, I couldn't think of anything funny. I guess nope. I do not do.
I actually caught Skimpy. So Skimpy, there was 2 things. Number one, part of my show meet was, how did you get the name That Guy Skimpy? Because that's not your name. It's not your last name. What?
My real name is Delano Fanoni, and not a lot of people can pronounce my name. So, but I got nicknamed Skimpy when I was probably like 8, maybe 7, maybe 9, somewhere within there. So I'm the youngest. I got 3 older brothers, and all my brothers are big dudes, man. They're tall and big. And I mean, I graduated high school at 119 pounds. I mean, I was just this tiny guy, skinny. And I mean, I'm 40 now. So yeah, I put on some weight, but until I was like 30, I was maybe 160 pounds. And then I got introduced to IPAs, and that's what happened. But,
hey, dark dad pops and biscuits and gravy, and now I'm 30 pounds heavier than.
And that's facts. So basically, you know, everybody in my neighborhood pretty much got nicknames. You know, I mean, it's just like a thing around here. But anyways, you know, I was the small guy, and it's just like I was the runt of the family. So then they were just calling me Skimpy, like little Skimp. And it was funny because I actually originally, like, I was probably younger. Because I was so small, I always had to prove myself. So I'd always try to fight the older kids. So they actually started nicknaming me Scrappy at first. So it could have been that guy,
okay.
Scrappy.
Dang.
But more people called me Skimp, and it was.
Hold on, I got to ban Liza here real quick for that sort of.
Yeah,
Liza.
I was just gonna say if you were gonna do that or not.
Yeah, that's not going to stick around here. Sorry, Liza.
How is that the worst breakfast food ever? I mean,
yeah, we're not.
A lot of people eat some weird stuff, but biscuits and gravy, and then
she said, "Me, it's disgusting."
I mean, what about if you have some scrambled eggs and you put a little bit of gravy on top? I mean,
oh my gosh, y'all got me cracking up. So Skimp, and Kuda, you might not know either. The joke behind this is my dog, a little stubby dog. He's a little pit bull, like 50 pounds, little guy.
He works over the cushion.
Yeah, so dude, I have never seen him hump
That's
anything
an
in my life,
understatement.
ever. No legs. He's never done it to my kids. Never seen him do it. Every time that I've come down here for a live and nobody's here, like if my daughters and my wife is gone and I leave the door open so he's down here, he'll just be over there working over a cushion cover or a pillow for like 30 minutes, having a romantic relationship with it. I don't know what the hell his deal
God,
is.
I wish I could
don't know.
I wish I could send you the picture that I took of Stubby that one day when I was down there. I just envision that as the look he's giving you as he's just never mind. We've gone too far.
Frickin' dude, Stubby Dog. I don't know. So sorry that we digress with that, folks. I don't know.
You closed again, man.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I'm gonna say the best jig channel out there. So, and I'm gonna say this for the reasons that are 100% true. The OG of where I've learned things from, frankly, and that's why I jumped on tonight. There's been plenty of other, you guys know I'm always in chat a lot of times on Saturday nights. But the deal is Skimp's the best out there. He's been making jigs and putting videos out there before most other people ever started any of this. So
appreciate you, man.
No joke. The other day I even went to go see. I'm like, what hook was Skimp using? Went for a straight shanked hook on his poison tail mod. I use as a resource. So if you're not following or subscribed to Skimpy on YouTube, you should be. And I'll tell you something. Even if you're not a jig maker, even if you are just you like lures and trying to understand when to use things, you should follow his channel. And I say that because he's got videos out here and he plays that 1980s and 1990s rap music. And one of these days he's going to bend the bill of his hat for me.
Never, bro.
But he's the OG. He's the OG for me besides Small Jaw. It's Small Jaw and then Skimpy are my guys.
Yeah, Skimpy and Luna were the two that, and I wasn't sure what to think of Matt Luna. Like when I first jumped on the boat with him, because like he seemed kind of like that serious tournament angler. So when I hopped on, I'm like, man, are me and Luna even gonna get along? Like,
right?
Because
he's chill, man.
He's a great dude.
It was just like us. It was like me and Randy shooting crap. Me, him, and Brennan. Now look at this. Skimpy does dance. Look at him back there. There's Cuda in front. Skimpy's back there dancing with Drake doing a TikTok. So don't let him fool you guys.
Nobody was dancing. I was not dancing.
Skippy lets it go. I'm just saying.
Trust me. He was cutting the rug back there, y'all. Don't let him fool you.
We had a good time. We had a really good time, man. That was a trip of a lifetime, and I'll never forget it. And I got actually something funny to say about Matt Luna. So now hear me out. Let me finish my whole sentence before me and Matt, I don't even know how to say this. So it was funny because I said, man, I've only known Matt for like 3 hours and we already slept with each other. And they were like, what? I said, oh, well, we got off of the airport and then we went to a hotel and shared a hotel room in the same room. And then what's his face? Brendan was like, yeah, don't say it like that.
Hey, man, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're on the road, Skimpy. We're not.
Well, I mean, when you meet a guy and you only know him for like 3 hours and then you have to share a hotel room with him, I mean, it was kind of weird, you know, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, Luna was down there.
We were going to say it that way, you know.
No. And I was actually going to try to get Luna on last week, and he got called into work, which sucked. We'll get him on, though. He's another guy that Luna's kind of got a cool story because, like I said, when I first got on the boat, I know he does like tournament fishing and, you know, a bunch of different fishing out west. I'm like, man, is this dude going to be like, you know, serious? Like, does he know that I'm catching dinks? And then once like we started talking about me catching dinks and stuff, he was throwing me crap and making fun of me. And it was a lot of fun, but it was cool. Skimpy and I were talking about this before Cuda. You know, for Luna, you know, out there, he's fishing a lot of like 20-foot clear water. So he was talking about before, like, you know, I don't get to do this kind of close quarters, you know, throwing a jig, you know, smacking these fish in the face with a jig. Like, this is kind of cool. And it's fun hearing those different, like when you fish with people like that, those kind of different views and the way, you know, like what you're used to. And I don't know. I love hearing about that, picking people's brains on the different ways they fish and stuff. So I don't know where I was going with that, but.
Hey, super excited. Here's a little thing on Matt Luna. So not this coming week, 2 weeks from now, Matt Luna is going to be on Jig Squad.
21st, right? Isn't it?
20.
20th.
Yep. So
yeah,
I'm
and where can
excited.
everybody find you? So go check out Skimpy.
Jig Squad.
Yeah, so go check out Skimpy. That guy's Skimpy on Instagram, YouTube. And if you guys want one of his hats, I think him and Retro have the two coolest logos. I've had like, I don't know, probably 15 people ask me, can I get one of those hats? These are not my
we got
hats.
hoodies and shirts, crew necks, everything. Hit up my guy 100 on Instagram.
Hit up Skimpy. Yep, I'll get that put up in the details below for anybody watching this. So Kuda, where can everybody find you and Jig Squad? So if for people that have not met you, I actually had Kuda on a while ago. Kuda, what is Jig Squad, and kind of you guys real quick before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Jig Squad, JIGSQUAD. You can find me on Instagram. You type in Jig Squad on YouTube, you're gonna find me. Basically, it's all live shows, and I interview jig makers, and it's all jigs. So we're the only show on the internet that is all jig talk, and so it's a lot of fun. I'm excited because there's some cool things coming for 2023. There's gonna be a little diversity to the show. We're adding a few different series. And I'm a one-man operation. You know, I run it all myself. I appreciate everyone. I run a clean show. I'm honest, and I just believe in good people and people telling their story. There's things you pick up. There's a lot of people that come in the chat and they just like fishing jigs. Sometimes there's jig makers. Sometimes they want to get started. So it's not about just making jigs. Last week we were talking about jigging spoons and blade baits. So anyway, find me on YouTube. I'm on the grind. This is still my first year. We get plenty of views, but we're on our way to 1,000, and any subscriptions are appreciated. All are welcome.
Go hit both these guys up. I'll link them both below. And 100 clothing. Somebody was asking me, fishing for potatoes. Skimpy doesn't actually make the hat. It's his buddy 100 clothing. So I can't link like Instagram stuff, but I'll leave his channel. Or just hit Skimpy up. Either way, Skimpy will get you to the right place. So.
Skimpy, how's that? How do you spell that? Is it spelled out like ONE Hundo?
It's one like the number one and then Hundo HUNDO at gmail.com. Oh no, you know what? It's 100 clothing at gmail.com.
That's it.
And then or 100 clothing at Instagram.
Okay.
He's actually a real good buddy of mine. That's why I'm trusting him with this. He's the whole product manager. He handles everything. I'm pretty much just the ugly face of it.
Yeah, and that's actually why I didn't order before. Skimpy was, talking about the stuff. Oh yeah, order one. I went to order one. I'm like, this dude doesn't even have a website. I'm like, I don't know if this is like legit. But Skimpy told me about it. I went to it. Dude replied back to me within a day, and I think I got my hat in like 3 days. So and I'm froze again. So what a way to go out on the new stupid webcam.
That's awesome.
That's right. Anyway, I'm not the good looking guy. Listen, we're getting out of here. Frozen Debo and all. Skimpy, thank you. Kuda Jig Squad, thank you. Mr. Randall, thank you. Love you guys. And everybody watching. I would not be here. We would not be here without all of you who watch and support us. So thank you all. We're out. We'll see you again next Saturday. I love y'all.
Go Mariners.